Welcome to another Digital Anarchy tutorial. I'm Tor Olson, Software QA here at Digital Anarchy, and in this tutorial we're going to be going over transcriptive and how to text edit your transcript once you get it back. We're going to be going into the keyboard shortcuts that we have in transcriptive, and we're also going to go over the undo and split and merge commands. So what we have inside of the transcriptive panel right now is a transcript that we just got returned from Watson. Sometimes we'll want to go back to the transcript that we've had returned to make sure that everything is accurate. Now, if you'll notice, I have a highlight that shows the current word that I am tracking in the transcript. When I click on other words, you can see that because we're fully integrated in Premiere, the playhead will skip to where that word is spoken. And if I go ahead and play it back, you can see that the tracking highlight will follow along. Couch.
Okay.
Yeah, not in the couch, by the couch, yes. Okay. So if I continue in the transcript.
Hey, I'm Jim Tierney with Digital Anarchy, and
you can see that we might have missed a few words in our transcript. What I would want to do is I would select where the incorrect word is and hit enter. This enters me into edit mode. You can always tell you're in edit mode by looking at the status window. It'll show editing and then ellipses. And it highlights a word. If I wanted to just flat out delete the word, I could just go ahead and hit delete. Or I could just use my arrow key to the right and delete the word and replace it with Jim. I can also go to words that aren't currently highlighted and type in the correct spelling if I wanted to. I'll just go ahead and edit the rest of the sentence. And when I'm done making my edits, I would just hit the escape button to go back to tracking mode. Now, an important detail between tracking and edit mode is that we can only use our keyboard shortcuts when we're in tracking mode. For instance, if I wanted to navigate through our transcript, I have options. If I wanted to skip ahead a word, I would just use my right arrow key. If I wanted to skip ahead to the next sentence, I would want to hold down the option key and hit my arrow key. It'll skip to the beginning of each line that we have. And the same goes for if I were to hold Option and Shift, it will skip to the next speaker. So in this case, you can see that speaker 2 is talking. If I hit Option Shift forward, it'll go to the next time that speaker 1 talks. And of course, the same goes for the back arrow. If I hit Option Shift back arrow, it'll go back to the previous speaker. Option left arrow will do the same thing for individual lines, etc. And of course, there's the obligatory spacebar for play and pause.
booked SOAR down in San Diego. We had a bit of a challenge getting it up here.
If you wanted to capitalize or uncapitalize words, we would use the up and down arrows. Now we also have shortcuts to implement any punctuation that you would want. For instance, if I wanted to add semicolon, I would just type the semicolon key and it will add it to the end of the word I have highlighted. This also goes for end punctuation, though end punctuation is unique in that if you type a new end punctuation key, say I've typed a period and I'm about to type a question mark, when I hit the question mark key, it will supersede the previous end punctuation mark that I had. So if I type an exclamation mark, it will replace that. Type a period again, it will replace that. You can always quick delete any punctuation you have for a singular word by holding down Control on Windows or Command on Mac and the delete key. You might have noticed as well, when I add end punctuation, it'll automatically capitalize the next word after my end punctuation. If I delete the punctuation, it'll do the opposite. It will uncapitalize the next word. If I wanted to delete an entire word, I could, of course, just hit enter to enter edit mode and delete the word. Or, while I'm in tracking mode, I would just select the word and hit the delete key. Now, we included a undo and redo option to be able to undo if you've deleted them. So in this case, I would just select undo, and we'll get back Tierney. And that goes for edits as well. So if I were to capitalize Tierney, I can always go and undo the capitalization or any other changes I've done to the text. The keyboard shortcut for undo and redo is Control Z and Control Shift Z for redo. And this is the case for both Mac and Windows. Finally, there's one more keyboard shortcut that's really important to know, and that is the ability to merge and split lines that we have. This can be really useful for when you have multiple speakers and, say, Speechmatics or Watson maybe includes a few words from one of the speakers as part of one line. And so we have an example of that, I think, down here. I would want to add some end punctuation in this case because Jim is asking a question. So I type in the question mark. I would then be able to go to the next sentence where I start talking, and I can hold down Option and the down arrow to create a new line from the portion that we have our highlight. A really important detail is whatever word you have selected, that is going to be the beginning of your new line. So when you're splitting sentences, just be aware of where your highlight is located. If I wanted to take a sentence and merge it, I would select any word in the sentence I have below. It doesn't matter if I select keyway or idea, and I would hold down Option or Alt and the up arrow, and that will combine it with the sentence that's directly above it. From here, if I wanted to, I could make my edits, choose a different speaker for my speaker diarization, and then be able to save my transcript. The save function doesn't necessarily have to be clicked. By default, every 10 seconds, your transcript, if you've made any edits to it, is going to save, just so you don't have to remind yourself to click the save button whenever you make a new edit. Now, the last order of business is to go over the speakers. You notice that I can change them by choosing the speaker dropdown, but if I wanted to change the amount of speakers I have, or rename them from speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3, etc., I can open the drop-down menu and choose Speaker Management, and this will open the dialog for my speakers. From here, I can add name changes if I wanted, and even add new speakers if I so choose. Now when I save it, my settings will be populated with Jim and Tor, and I also have the option to select my third speaker that I've added to my speaker management list. So that's really it for text editing and the keyboard shortcuts and undo features we have in Transcriptive. If you want to take a look at Transcriptive yourself, you can go to digitalanarchy.com where we have a free demo, as well as a lot of other cool plugins that you can check out at our website, digitalanarchy.com. Again, I'm Tor Olson, software QA and tech support over here at Digital Anarchy, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.